Hi, this is Ann Kimbrough. I'm down here. Ding, ding, ding. This is something new I'm just starting. It's called the Content Creator Challenge, as you can see from the screen. It's starting today. This is today. I don't know when you're going to see this, but I'm recording this today on September the 1st, 2020. And this is going to be my year-long, well, technically a year and a month, challenge. I'm making it for myself, but anyone can join in. But it's going to go till September 30th of next year. And it's a challenge to see what I can create in a year that is concrete, substantial, and I've put out there for the world. I'll tell you a little bit why in just a sec. For those of you that don't know me, I'm Ann Kimbrough. I'm a screenwriter, a novelist, recently a podcaster, and which has led me to start saying or thinking that I'm really an all around content creator, which is where the name of the challenge came from. Originally, I was thinking it should be just for my publishing, but I realized I have too much else on my plate. I'm not going to include screenwriting in this, but I do want to talk about that. Why I'm a screenwriter is because I love that medium. I did start out in television production, making TV commercials as a PA and a production assistant. But then I just loved the writing of it, and I took the time to learn my craft. That took a while, but I'm quite proficient at it now, happy to say. It paid off. And I am still out there working as a screenwriter with a producing and writing partner. So that world is well in hand. And I, although it's a tough world, you probably know, it's a tough business to set stuff up. So something I wanted to do for me on this side was write books and now also podcasting. The reason why novels, the control. It's wonderful to be able to actually create something by yourself. You don't need a film crew and put it out there. And I started out by creating books I wanted. Originally, for my son when he was young, he was they call it a reluctant reader. Books didn't interest him. And I wanted to write a book that he would like. I did write the book. He never read it because he was too old by the time I put it out. But I wrote the book and it was published, and I've since gotten the rights back, and I am going to republish it during this challenge. Just watch. I also love mysteries. So I have been writing cozy mysteries, if you know what those are. They're sort of like Murder, She Wrote. That's a TV show, but as a book. Agatha Christie. They are amateur detectives who, solve crimes without getting gory or anything. So that's something I'm doing. I'm also podcasting. So you might say, why podcasting? Well, it is in the golden era of podcasting. They do need content creators like crazy. Hollywood has been looking at podcasting. There are several really huge success stories like Homecoming, which is a HBO series. Welcome to Night Vale, which has been noticed by a lot of people that they took it on the road and do the show in front of big theater groups. I mean, not right now, but there's a lot of really interesting, powerful storytelling coming out of podcasts. Obviously, the majority of podcasting are like interviews and news, but there is a segment called audio dramas, which are like your old serialized radio. I mean, none of us listen to that, but you probably know about it. And to me, it has a very episodic, like TV serialized. So it's a nice connection between writing for television and writing for podcasting. So it's a great way to use your talents, and there's a lot of opportunity. Plus, it's like writing books in the sense of you can do it by yourself. And content, of course, is king or queen, however you want to phrase it, because you can build your brand, as I've listed here. you what you create, you own, and ownership is everything. This is very much sort of the idea of ultimate branding, from being that showrunner of your own content, making Hollywood come to you. Although I think the first step, of course, is that you like this creative process and the creative high it can give you. Obviously, it's hard to be in total control, but seeing as I come from a screenwriting background where I don't have much control, it's a nice balance. And the thing is, I've been doing this for years. I have been creating other stuff on the side, but I really haven't been held accountable to it. At the end of every year, my goal is to look at what I've done in the past year and see some growth. And I always can see growth. I've done stuff, but what is actually out there? If you look at my IMDb page, I don't have a lot to show for all the work I've done. And, some of it, well, most of it I did for free, but I did get paid for stuff. But no one really knows what I've been doing because I don't have it. So much stuff never gets to that level where you have a screen credit that will appear on your IMDb page. So I guess this past year, when it ended in January of 2020, I look back at the year and I was like, I don't have enough to show for what I've done. I mean, I'd written a lot of stuff for myself, but I hadn't published it. And I started to get into podcasting, but I hadn't put a lot of it out there yet as shows that people could go listen to. And that's where I decided it has to change. When I get to the end of this year, let alone the end of this challenge, I want to be able to look back and say, hey, I published 10 books or whatever it turns out to be. I created 2 podcasts that have, 8 to 10 episodes each, whatever it turns out to be. But I want to see I want some credits out there. Whether they turn out to be IMDb credits, they're going to be my credits that I can say, hey, go look at it. You can see it. That's sort of what's really the fire of what I'm going for with this challenge. And then, like I said, it's not like I haven't been doing this before, but I haven't been held accountable. So I'm standing up and saying it, and I guess you get to hold me accountable, or you can join me and we can hold each other accountable. However that works out, it works for me. So here's the thing. Screenwriting is screenwriting, and that business requires a lot of other people to make it work, and which is one of the reasons I love it. I love that creative process of collaboration and being able to create something magical that is far beyond whatever I put on the page. That's a great world. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I do. I love that world. But at the end of the day, I need a lot to make that happen, right? I've listed it here. You need a lot of money, right? You need a lot of other people. And then, of course, you need millions in marketing to put it out there and have everyone watch it. To make it a IMDb credit you're proud of, right? So, obviously, my control over that situation is very small. But my control over novels is not small at all. Really, all you need is a Word document to type your words and Kindle publishing. There are many other steps in between there, obviously, but it is that simple on a certain level. You can do it. All the tools are available to do it for free. It costs you almost nothing except your time and your talent, I guess. But I'm thinking your talent will come along with you wherever you take it. Same with podcasting. There are some fees for podcasting in the sense of everything you create does have to be hosted somewhere like a website. But there are some very inexpensive ways to do that. And you need a mic and a laptop at your home. I mean, you got to write stuff first too. So I guess you also need that Word document, the Word program. But that's why screenwriting is not on my list here in the challenge. Novels and podcasting is. So we are talking about self-publishing. This is a book called The 100 Script Challenge Journal. It's a journal. I should have pulled it out. I have one here. This is something I self-published a few years back. It still makes me some money, a little bit of money, and I don't do anything to promote it. It's out there. I created this company, Everything Journals. For my fiction writing, I have Everything Novels. You see the trend. So what this took and what it does take to self-publish, you do need some kind of Word document that you use. You need to, books have to be formatted. Kindle. So everything is now called Kindle publishing. I'm not going to go into the history of all that, but it's through Amazon. So Kindle publishing has a lot of help on it. I mean, honestly, they have everything you could need to know to figure it out. But I use Scrivener for my formatting, so there's a cost for Scrivener if you go that route. You can also hire someone on Fiverr to do it for you. There's a learning curve for all of this. For me, I have put in the time for several years to learn all this. So I'm not saying you can do this overnight, but I am saying there's ways to do it pretty inexpensively, to zero expense, but your time. I publish through KDP, which is Kindle Direct Publishing. That's Amazon, for a better word. Marketing is important. That's a whole nother segment. That's because you are doing it to sell books, I hope. And I have found that you basically need 10 books of anything you're doing to maximize the profits and sell. I mean, the whole point is that if you're going to get someone interested in one book, you want a series of books for them to then go on to. Just one book, I mean, you have to really keep inventing the wheel to find more and more people to like it. For me, I am looking at that 10-book goal as in a series of books in one genre, which for me is cozy mysteries. When it comes to podcasting, you need a home studio. That's right here behind me. You can see the inside of it in these pictures. So there's a startup cost to podcasting, which I have put in. Sound is everything. I've made the mistake early on, and I apologize for anybody that I might have tried to do their audiobook for. To learn this process, several years back, I did try to be an audiobook creator. It's really hard. I think I'll do my own now going forward, but that's very time consuming. I'm not including that in this challenge, but I am including this. This is where I record my podcasts. You need obviously a quiet space. You need the soundproofing. You need a good mic. It needs to be hooked up to a computer. I use a MacBook. And you need something like GarageBand or Audacity to record it and edit it. Editing takes a long time. I do basically my podcasts. I can show you here. This is the only one I have out right now. It's called Lyric, A Mother of a Fairy Tale. And it is a YA fantasy story about a college student that finds out she's kind of responsible for how nature is screwed up, or at least her family is, and she's in charge of fixing things, or it falls to her. But it's a reality-based idea that's a fantasy. It's in a reality. It's in our world, but it's a fantasy story. You can listen to it for free at these places. Podranger is a website I created that I try to promote not just my podcast, but anyone. So if you have a podcast, let me know. I'd be glad to share it as I build that site. And obviously, there's a lot that goes into that. If I go back to the other, you not only need the equipment to record it, you do need the hosting platform. I use Buzzsprout. And editing, like I said, takes time. And basically, Lyric is a story I wrote. So I'm doing voices and I'm using sound effects. So it's to me, it's an enhanced audio book, but it's an audio drama. So I'm releasing it serialized. And I'm trying to keep them short, although when you add in sound effects, they get longer and longer. I'm learning. This is the podcast I'm learning on. I got another one in the works. it does get me to this point of research. Like I said, I've been trying to do this challenge for years, and only now am coming out and saying I'm doing it. And I'd like to think of the last 2 years or so as research. Not only was it research to learn how to do all these aspects correctly, but to understand what the markets are like. I do believe in that thing about from Hollywood that I've learned that, you don't want to create something that nobody wants. So you need to know that you are targeting what you're doing to an audience. I mean, don't get me wrong. If you're someone that is avant-garde and you break in your own trail, God, I love you. Hallelujah. Keep doing it. But for me, that's not how I write. It's not the stuff I like to watch. So I definitely have done my research, and I want to emulate or follow in the great giant steps of people that I've admired their work, and try to find my path in there. So research to this is important. But here's the challenge. Now, I don't know how many of you will be ready to come on this challenge with me or just watch me and laugh. But I think a lot of us have put a lot of time into being able to do these things, or just one of them. You don't have to do as many as I'm doing. I'm just that kind of nuts person that I know that I can't just say I'm just going to write books for a year. There's too many other things going on, and I won't let them go. So you don't have to do as many things as I'm doing. I'm including everything I'm doing so I don't make myself sad and feel like I failed. So every month I am going to keep track of what I've created. And what I'm looking for is things that are completed. So I need to have finished writing a book. I need to have published a book. Those would count each as their own check mark of, yeah. I need to have recorded a complete podcast, and I should have put in there recorded and edited it, because if you record it and it just sits, that's just like something book you typed up in Word. If you haven't, well, actually it's like a book you typed up in Word but never edited or never proofed it. It needs to be complete. And then of course if I've released it, because all these steps, there's a step. It's a huge step to write a book and have it ready to publish. So that's, to me, why it counts. And then, of course, publishing a book takes a lot less time than writing a book, but it's an involved process too. So to me, it counts. If you have problems with my challenge rule, here, I'm coming to the rules. But if you have a problem with my challenge parameters, just let me know. Nothing's 100% set in stone. I do listen and correct where needed. Course correct. So here are my rules. Like I said, make your own if you don't like these, if you decide to do the challenge along with me. I can use any material I have currently in the works. I feel like this is sort of like one of the big important rules, since I only really have 2 rules. I didn't number them, but we all write a lot of stuff that we just sort of let go. You write several chapters of a book and go, You probably do the same with screenwriting. You write write the first act, then you stop. For whatever reason, we do this. So I am starting here at day 1, but anything I got waiting in my laptop here, filed away for a rainy day. Well, today it's the rainy day. I can use anything that I've pastly that I've created in the past. I can use that. Even if it's like almost ready to go, I can use it. And then, and I guess the other rule is that I'm going to count everything at the end of the month. So whatever that month has been done gets allotted to that month as a positive. I don't want to look at this as success failure, because it's not about that. It is about progress. It's always about progress, and this is something to push me. I write every day, but I want results. So this is a result-based challenge. So I need to see some results every month. If not, I will change something. Probably focus a little bit more on one thing instead of two. What we won't do. Oh, I'm like, we won't downsize? No, downside. There's no downside. We're not going to be negative about any of this. No regrets, no binge eating to compensate for a lack of results. Yeah, this is can only be a positive. Wherever we get to, it's probably more than what I've gotten to before, and it's a good thing. I mean, in many ways, I'm doing this for maybe 3 reasons. One is to stand up and say it out loud, because I feel like I've been doing this, like I said, for at least a couple of years, probably more. And sometimes when you vocalize something, here I'm putting it on film and putting it on Facebook and YouTube. So obviously I'm really saying something, and I'm saying something to me, but by saying it out there, I'm hoping that someday somebody will go, hey, whatever happened with that challenge? Hopefully there'll be a video out there that tells you what happened, or 10 books that you want to read. And that's the other part. In some ways, this is promoting my work. I want to create stuff that people like and actually read or listen to. So yeah, there's that aspect of it being sort of a marketing thing. And the third is that I like to inspire you while I'm inspiring me. That is always the side benefit. I don't really think there's anything that I've created or put out there that it didn't start with trying to do something for myself, in the sense of feel better to share the knowledge. If I can't make money at what I've learned, maybe at least I can share it with people that it will help. I mean, that certainly goes into the Screenwriters Beat show I created on YouTube. But it's definitely for you as well, and I hope you find it interesting on some level or helpful. So are we ready? Are you going to take the challenge with me? Follow along, maybe just when you can, maybe for a month. At least follow my progress, and you have my permission to laugh and just shake your head at the sheer audacity of what I'm trying to do. But I hope you're ready. I hope I'm ready. So it's time to go. Thanks for joining me on this challenge, and I'm going to keep the info coming about my progress. I wish you luck. Please wish me luck.